Okay, so just okay. Okay, perfect. Hi, everybody. My name is Alexandra South. I'm the Director of Strategic Communications and Public Affairs at the City of Thousand Oaks. And so my role in the city is to work on both internal and external communications, as well as overseeing economic development, legislative affairs, and how all of those things interconnect at the city at all sorts of different levels. So what I'm here to share with you today is a kind of grassroots program that the city is building out to support the adjustments to the crossing guard program that happened earlier this year. On February 14th, City Council approved some changes to our crossing guard programs to create some minimum standards, which helped some intersections and, really gave kind of a baseline for some of the other intersections. And so the key to our crossing guard situations is pedestrian counts, right? How many people are using those crosswalks? And so what this program is developed to do is be a grassroots toolkit for organizations, neighborhoods, PTAs, nonprofits, parent groups, to organize themselves in order to increase foot traffic to school, whether that's on foot, by bike, by scooter, stroller, whatever it is, using something other than a vehicle. And so this toolkit will be something that people can use themselves to really engage and build buy-in for getting to school in a different way. So the website itself, which is very nearly ready, not quite. This is a full in-house effort. We aren't using any sort of outside agency to execute this. So this is staff built. The toolkit will have a variety of printable materials that groups can use to organize neighborhood meetings. It'll have different social media assets that people can download and really start to empower themselves to get up and get outside when it's the beginning of the day for school. So these, the website will host all of these things, walktoschoolto.org. It's gonna be super user-friendly, not specifically kid-oriented, but a little bit, right? It has to be something fairly appealing, but something that really drives home that narrative of getting to school in other ways. So definitely putting the emphasis on everybody's individual responsibility in this space. And as much as we would love to say, like, everybody has to walk to school, we can't do that. So we want to be able to give people the tools to do that themselves. So the website itself will be mobile friendly and it'll be accessible. It'll meet all the ADA requirements as well. So anybody who uses a different type of device to access the website, whether that's a screen reader or otherwise, it will meet all of the standards to facilitate that. The website will contain a pretty in-depth look at the crossing guard situation as it stands today. So this is very fresh. This is all fresh as of last Wednesday's traffic commission. These are some of the current stats we have right now. And so we have the locations that currently meet the standards, which added this crossing for Ladera Elementary, because the new standards actually bumped that into a space that does meet the criteria. The one on the right there, and this will all be live on the website, is all of the ones that do not meet the standards, including the ones highlighted in red, which have single digit counts either in the morning or in the afternoon or both, which is not that great, right? A single digit count at a crosswalk is a very difficult space to navigate. And so while the emphasis certainly does feel like it's a lot on the locations that don't meet the current standards, this toolkit will also help bolster areas where they do have really great crossing numbers, right? Because we don't want those to fall off either. And so it's really helping the community recognize the power that they have to make all of these things possible. So these stats and everything will be on the website, as well as a variety of other materials. Some event ideas will be there. Perhaps something called Cross with a Council Member, where community groups, and this could be applied to any of the boards, any elected groups. And so where as groups start to organize themselves within their district or area or whatever, they could request to have kind of a special event in the morning, maybe one morning where they put out the word that you're gonna cross with your council member today, and the council member in that district could hopefully meet them at that intersection and help cross kids that morning, and really start to do little things like that, super organic, natural, not too splashy, but something that people want to engage in and show that there's energy and things happening so that it's an important effort. This is a pretty agile program and site. We have a fairly robust social media presence now at the city that we've been building over the last several years. But the site itself, because it's all in-house, is very agile. You'll be able to adapt materials, add things. We're not going to do a lot of custom work for each group, but we'll kind of measure that as it goes. But we'll be able to add video content, more social media posts, different things as this kind of rolls out and we hear feedback. You know, it'd be really great if we could have this. And if it's something, you know, pretty adaptable to all the different groups, that's something that we can add to the space. We do have a very powerful in-house video crew, TOTV, that we will try to leverage in a few spaces to create some kind of blanket content that all the different groups can use and leverage to really promote the program within their special interest group. We won't necessarily provide a lot of printed materials up front as the city, but we'll definitely have all of the things on the website people can download and print or customize in whatever way. We'll have some editable Canva files. If people are familiar with Canva, they can make the edits themselves, or they can just print out the PDF old school and write on it. And so we'll have it for all ranges and skills. But it's something that we can be really responsive to, whether it's on our social media and sharing it, or whether it's updating materials to the website. So the full kind of tilt, say fall 2023. So probably in the next few weeks, we'll have something much closer to launch that will have all of these different things that people will need to get started. And while we'll start pushing it out on our social media, we'll really start relying on groups like yours to also take this and kind of run with it as individuals even, so that you're sharing these different things and helping just raise awareness of the tool and how people can implement it. Additionally, it'll also help push some of the messaging around hiring crossing guards. We love crossing guards. We all want crossing guards. Unfortunately, they're very difficult to hire because of the split day, because of the times, and there's not a ton of people who can do that. But the larger of a pool that we build within our crossing guard candidate pool, if we have a big group that can just do mornings and a big group that can just do afternoons, then they can split the shifts. But unfortunately right now, we ideally fully staffed, we're at 28. And I believe at the moment we have 24. So we're always looking. And ideas are always welcome, and sharing the post, which so many of you do, which is so helpful, is really incredible. And so it does help bolster the efforts. Certainly our last 4 candidates that entered our candidate pool said that they got the information from Facebook, which is really good for us to know. And so, you know, when you're looking at demographics and groups and things, where are they seeing it? And that's the type of information that's really valuable to us. So we'll continue to push those efforts as well, kind of in tandem with this. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Awesome. All right, so we'll do comments from the board. Cindy, do you have?
Yeah, just thank you for putting this all together. It's something that we've talked about a lot. I think this is great, and the fact that it'll hopefully be user friendly for our parent groups. That could,
Yes.
I mean, we all know that works best.
Sure.
Right, when it comes from the users.
Yes, exactly.
David?
Well, again, I too want to thank you.
Sure.
It's really hard standing up a website. But,
Yeah.
I mean, 2 comments from my background
Sure.
in running websites for very large publications. Number one is I went through the privilege of interviewing Tim Berners-Lee, the inventor of the World Wide Web.
Yeah.
And his original idea was to have websites be read and write. That
Yeah.
readers could put. So I
Sure.
love the idea of what you're doing about having space for feedback.
Sure.
That's that will keep this going.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing, the hardest thing I found in my career was standing up a website is 90% of the work, and then feeding the bees, piping your content.
Yeah.
Is the other 60%.
Yes, exactly. And so, we're able to make really quick updates. We're able to really be responsive to anything that we need to add or change, and that's what's made it such a great effort.
So if you're looking.
Absolutely,
It's keeping something fresh.
exactly.
It's great.
Yes.
Some cool things, that's great.
Absolutely. And as people start to implement some of the different tools here, we're hoping to be able to gather photos, of people using these tools in real life, of walking buses being formed in communities, so that we have groups of kids that are walking because they, went here and they figured out how to build a walking bus or a bike bus or whatever it is. And so different things like that will start to trickle through organically.
Yeah, growing up here since '86, and I walked to school every day.
Sure.
My parents worked in downtown LA and I was a latchkey kid.
Sure.
And walked to university, so, I remember walking down and crossing at the Lutheran church and going over and then crossing again, and. There was a gang of us, right, that just would like walk along and then, get smaller and smaller as you got further
Yeah,
away from high
exactly.
school. But then loved it, like, riding my bikes, I remember dropping off my kids to Madronia and being like, huh, there's only one bike in the bike lot, because it used to be when I was a kid, you couldn't even find a spot to put your bike and you were like trying to hustle, so you wouldn't be late. And now I think being a parent now who my kids have school choice into schools that are not walking distance, I see where, because you didn't have that option when I grew up, right? You went to your neighborhood school, that was it. And so now I can see where this is something that you have to actually launch in the community and get people to register. My brother walks his kids to Acacia because he's right down the street. Yeah, and he's massive and complains about that. He's almost been hit by a car like 3 times. But yeah, so I can see, like, I think this is a great program. But yeah, I think that it is has its challenges due to the parents like myself who have school choice their kids into not our neighborhood schools. But there's still plenty that do go to their neighborhood schools. So for those parents that can do that, I think that just launching something like this and giving them the tools to know where the crossing guards are, and then maybe them feeling more comfortable if we could have some more community involvement.
Yeah.
I am gonna say I don't know how exciting it will be to cross with a council member for a small child. Just gonna put that out there. I think we need to like dress up in like mascots and stuff. Way more insane.
Look at how the big dog had, I think.
As much as, I think we're all, I just don't know if that's gonna be the draw.
But parents, right? Two different everywhere and dialed in. So, maybe everywhere so we have. So
Maybe if it's one kind of a pretty soft day.
exactly.
There's Wonder Woman for the jogathon, like, whenever guys come in to raise and remind people to like do their pledges. I've done it. Done it all. So, I think if we did that right here, and that
There's different ways to kind of raise awareness and start to build some momentum and activity around that type of a thing will get more attention than us saying, walk to school, kids, it's really has to be organic and homegrown truly.
Yeah, for sure. So I appreciate you putting this together, because having been on the PTA for many years and schools at council, the biggest thing for being on the PTA is resources. And when resources are already made, it's so much easier to implement than it is when you're a working parent and you're on PTA and you're just trying to like get these things ran.
Yes.
So I think that I'm not on PTA anymore, but I think that all of the people who are participants will really appreciate having
Absolutely.
the resources. I could add one more thing to this plate. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna do public comments now. We're gonna try and keep it somewhat brief, but do you have anybody who wants to speak?